Okay, so welcome to the new meeting of the OSDC course for Perl programmers especially. And so we are going to do something about Perl again. And as we discussed, let me share the screen and that's going to be easier before I forget. So this is just a README file, and this is basically what we said, we discussed just before the video, that we are going to take a look at one of the projects that needs database access and look at the GitHub Actions and try to set up GitHub Actions. So I can do grep GitHub, right? So these are some of the projects that you have. So we dealt with the types. Maybe we can take a look at the DBAX class. Let's see what's
wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see, because well that needs database access, or probably the tests need database access. So we see that it doesn't have a GitHub Actions. Okay. It has Travis, okay, but well, Travis hasn't been running for quite some time. Okay, so we can actually take a look at how Travis was configured here. But I don't see any database. So MySQL, I'm trying to look for some, or any SQL. So I don't see that.
While you're browsing, I'm not familiar with Travis. Was that doing the same actions as GitHub Actions?
Yeah. So okay,
just a swap.
So sorry, I didn't say. So Travis was, or it still is, a project, a service that allowed you to create continuous integration. So run your tests. Okay. That was actually, so it existed for a couple of years, and it still exists, but it's not free for open source projects anymore. It used to be sort of the de facto standard for creating a continuous integration for GitHub projects. You would configure this file, and then you would tell Travis, allow Travis to or configure basically Travis to run your tests. What would actually they do? Okay, wait a second. I have this window here. What they would actually do is configure, add a webhook to your GitHub action. Do you know what? Are you familiar with webhooks?
No. Yeah. I've got lots of SaaS products that use them. Yeah. Well, Steve might not be, so Steve? Go ahead, explain.
Okay. I'll quickly. I'll show. Actually, I show one that's not working, but it was configured. So it's subgob slides. Okay. Well, caps lock is on. Okay. So these. I have millions and millions of, or thousands at least, of slides on this website. So if you go to codemaven.com/slides, then I have many slides for Python training and Perl training and more Perl training that split the testing, and then Go and Docker. We looked at the Docker slides there actually, okay? And these are generated from this repository, okay? And the way it worked for some time, and they stopped working, and I didn't have the time to check what was the problem, is that when I pushed out here something, then the GitHub actually told my server that there is a new push, go do your thing. And on my server, it was listening to these events, and when this event arrived, then it generated a code git pull to pull the new version of the source code, and then ran the program that would generate the slides. So basically, I only had to push out the changes, and the slides would be would arrive to my server generated. And the way I did, I came here to the settings, and then there are these webhooks, and I can add the webhook. So let's add the webhook now, or yeah, sure. Okay, sorry, I have to play with my phone in order to let this work. Okay. Okay. So I put here a URL, okay, where to send this event. Okay, it's just a URL, so it's on my website. Okay, I give it what type of data I would like to receive. So I can get either this format, the URL encoded format, or a JSON, and then it would just send me all the data in a JSON format. Okay, and I can select what events to send me. Okay, and then I add the webhook, and this means that basically on every such event, okay, so just push events or everything, or I guess, I don't know, I haven't tried it. You can select what kind of events in GitHub would trigger this request to that URL. Okay, and then that URL, you have some web application that listens and receives a request, or basically a notification, a request from here, and then you will get the data, and then that process can do whatever it wants to with the data. Okay, so it can, what my process did is ran a git pull and then started to generate the file. But basically, this could trigger the build system on my server. Well, this is basically the build system of my slides. It could trigger, I don't know, whatever you like. Okay. And so there is the last thing that I didn't mention. This is the secret. So that endpoint on my server is not really protected in any way. So anyone who finds that endpoint can send their requests. Okay, so how can I ensure that only really GitHub sends me requests? Okay, I can't really verify the IP address coming from, because I don't know what they might change their IP addresses. Okay, they can have plenty of IP addresses, so I don't need, I can't create a list of accepted IP addresses. So what you can do is type in some secret here. So let's say secret. Okay, so you type in a secret, and then when you save it, obviously it's just you who know it, and now everyone else who's watching the video, or who will watch the video, but then in your endpoint, in your code, you can verify that along the real data, the system also sent you this secret. And anyone else who's trying to send you data that looks like this one won't know what the secret is, because you put it in here. Okay, so that way you can make sure that the request you're receiving is really from GitHub. So this is how you would add a webhook. And okay, webhooks again, go back. And if you look at this one, let me edit this one. Oh no, the editing is not that interesting.
You haven't got a secret in that one.
No, it doesn't have a secret. Yeah. I mean, the only thing it did is run a git pull and rebuild the slides. So, and it's not working anymore anyway. But what I wanted to show, and I don't see it now. Why? It was there. Recent deliveries. Okay. I think they've changed where it looked like. Oh, and I won't be able to show it in the next course, because I guess it's removing the ones that are more than a month old. So I only have three recent ones anymore. Okay, so this is how it looks like. Okay, the data that I received. So it's a huge JSON file with the SHA of the previous commit or whatever is why before and after. I don't know what the before and after, I forgot. But I mean, tons of information on that push that you just pushed out. Okay. And then you can do with it whatever you like. That's it. Questions here? So that's how Travis worked also, that it added a webhook. And then so when you pushed out any new changes, it sent a request to the servers of Travis, and then they pulled the latest version of your source code and started to build. Okay, and gave a report, and it's really nice. I have, I think, several videos and articles. I was trying to get more people to use Travis because, well, I think CI is a very useful and valuable thing for any open source project. Unfortunately, I think about a year ago or so, they stopped the free service, probably partially because now everyone goes to GitHub Actions. So let's go with this project. Okay, so I'm cloning it. Locally, because first we'll need to see if we can run the test locally and what's going on with the test there. So dbix class. So let's run this dr command that starts my Docker container. And what do we have here? So wait a second, LL is also working. Okay, so if we read, let's look at, oh, there's no readme. Okay, so there are no instructions how to run anything here, but I can see a makefile PL here, so I guess it's Perl makefile. Okay, and it's missing module install. Okay, so one more thing now in this opportunity, let's also add work playground, right? And at least I mentioned that I need to add module install. So now I need to install module install, and then I cpan m. No test. So I add here module install. I just put a note here, so later on I update it, so it will be in the Docker image. The thing is, well, it wasn't so bad. So what is module install? I don't know if you're familiar with all this makefile and build and the history of it, as much as I know, that you have the several ways of packaging distributions. One is the xutils makemaker, which is a Perl module that is standard, so it comes with Perl. And then you would write a makefile and use that internally. That was one way. And this is sort of the most old school way to do it. But this is something that doesn't require any extra add-on to Perl because it's standard. And I think it's fine. Then at one point, this module install was created that had a much nicer, you still write a makefile PL, but it's slightly different, okay? So it's a nicer way of writing stuff, okay? More, I mean, it's in some way it is, but you need to install module install in order to use it. Now, the way it works so that the end user won't need to install it is that in your package, let's check it here. In the dbix class, meta cpan code release dbix class. Okay, so hello, meta cpan, please answer. Okay, so here we can see the source. Where is the browse? I think, yeah. It includes a folder called inc, and inside it puts the current version of module install. Okay, inc module install. So when you are packaging, it puts itself in your package. Okay, so the end user doesn't need to install this because it comes with your distribution. That's how it worked. Okay, but as a developer, you need to install it externally because it's not in the source code. It's not in GitHub because you can use the most recent one. Okay. So anyway, now I installed it, so I can write now Perl makefile, and I have no idea what it's going to do. So let's cpan install deps. I think that should work. Okay. So now this command installs all the dependencies of my package. Let's just put this as the node. Okay. So readme. So what I'm just taking notes here. What we did while it's installing. So cpan I don't need the install, right? No test. Okay, so what is it doing? So this is going to take a while because it needs a lot of these extra libraries, and because I forgot to give it no test. Okay, so let's change it and make it much faster. So cpan install deps no test. This is how we go with this. Okay, in the meantime, we are in here. Let's look at the tests. So there are tons of tests, and I would like to see if it's using somewhere the environment variables in the tests. Are you familiar, by the way, with eck?
No, I was just about to ask what that was doing.
Sorry?
No, I've not seen that before.
No, eck. So beyond grep, not better, sorry. Beyond grep, okay? So this is the website. This is a Perl module actually, and the Perl tool, which is a sort of a glorified grep. Part of the reason it's much better, or I use all the time, is it's by default recursive, and by default it skips most of the files that shouldn't be grabbed. Okay, like the .git folder. Okay, and the .svn folder when it was svn, and whatever the binary files. Okay, so in grep, I don't know, I guess you grab something and either it doesn't find anything or it now prints out a whole binary file because somehow it found a string in that binary file. Eck does it less. Okay. So it's just, I mean, you can already install it with your package management system. We lost someone. And
I mean, it's useful to know when you're on a system that doesn't have a graphical interface, but if I was on a system that had Visual Studio Code or something installed, then I would use a search inside that to sort of recursively look for stuff, but useful to know.
Yeah, so if you can install Perl modules, then it's meta cpan. It's called eck. Okay, and the Lester's module. So, and it's, I mean, I like it very much. And then you can configure it. So you can have all kind of configurations. You can have a ACKRC file in your folder or in your home directory, and in there you can add all kind of additional configurations like, okay, skip this folder or skip this type of so ignore files or ignore folders, like ignore dir and ignore file. Okay, these common things you can configure. And so yeah, oh, it's installed. Okay, so now if I run Perl makefile, why does it say, tell me how to install 26 modules? Why does it say they are still missing? Okay, let's try this one. Perl doc is not installed. Perl -m -e1. It's really not installed. So what's the story? cpan no test. I don't let it install. Very strange. Oh, cpan install. Okay, let's try this one. I'm not sure. Okay, let's let it. Okay, it didn't like me. I don't know what's happened here. So I was worried that it won't install because I'm using cpan and or I would like to use cpan and this will probably try to use just cpan, which is not configured for my in this system. So what's going on here? I don't know. But let's start cpan. Okay, I think. Oh, now I recall that I had this issue, but I don't remember what was the solution. cpan install test install modules required for testing. Okay, and I think let's take a look at this one. So if I take this mass base 36 base, I don't know where is it even mentioned. You see, base 36. My meta JSON changes. So there is an optional list of optional dependencies. Very strange what's going on here. Okay, let's see the documentation. There is a README here in the generated one. It's fun to say it's still in rapid development, and it has been stagnant for more than a year now. No release. It doesn't say. I don't see if it says how to install, how to set up the local environment. So what the cpan install, using it to install modules. That's not what. So the thing, I don't understand why it's not installing these other prerequisites when I told it, right? I ran this and it says everything is installed, but then when I run Perl makefile, it complains about all kind of other things. Okay. I have no better idea than to create this file. Let's say this one. Okay, and install all the modules by myself. So cpan-m no tests, right? This is basically what I would like. And then, oh, how can I remove this now? Any of you know VI enough? Oh, I know. I can remove this again. And then I can say space and everything and replaced by nothing. Okay. And now I can add cpan-m no test, right? And then I make it executable. And now, so this I did in my computer, okay? And inside the image, I just run this dep.sh, and it's now installing all the additional requirements. And the only thing that's missing from here is that base something that was installed, that I installed it already manually. Let's hope that this will work. And so they are listed here. Really, really strange. Let's look at the Travis file. So here, the Travis file is supposed to be here. And so these are all the environment variables it was setting up. Now this is just the matrix. It needs all kind of these extra packages to be installed apparently. You see, it seems that it has scripts in order to set up environments. So, yeah, okay. So in the source code of the project, there is a file that would, I guess, set up all the environment. So there's a lot of investment went in this. So this, in Travis, this would happen. There were 3 stages: before install, and or maybe just 2. I don't remember. And so install would. Why was it separated? I don't remember. Oh, it was separated, I think, so you can inherit some global stuff, and then you have separate installations in separate jobs. And the script would be the one running the actual tests. So, I mean, I think if we want to set up GitHub Actions for this one, we can do either, well, hopefully we'll be able to run this thing. We can do either a very simple one, okay, just so something will run there, or we could invest a lot of time and energy trying to make sure that all these things work on now GitHub Actions. And I think probably that these scripts are, I mean, I don't know, but they might be relatively easy to move. Maybe they are not even dependent on Travis. We can, but I think it would be way beyond our session to do this. Okay, so let's go back here. Oh, okay, so everything is now installed, hopefully. And now this worked. So let me just find this last command, this one, and add it to the file. So in case we will need that file. Okay. And put it in the right place in the ABC order. Okay. So we can use this file later on if you would like to set up some very simplistic way of doing this. Okay, so now we have make and make test. And what I wanted to check earlier, but I didn't, is whether it really is expecting to have any real database. Okay, here it is. Good. So you can see it needs a Postgres database in order to run these tests. So my suggestion would be, but I would like to get your input as well, is that we first try to set up a GitHub action just without the database, just so we have a big GitHub action running. Okay. Now that we know what things that need to be installed, and then once we see that all the tests are running without the database, then we add also this database. Or you have other idea what to do?
No, that makes sense. Recreate what you've just done, and then we can add the database. I mean, there's several ways of adding the database. So let's do this first bit, and then we can discuss how to do that.
Sorry, that we do the first bit, which is. I didn't understand.
I'm just saying, I'm just saying, let's do it without the database first, just to make sure we're recreating what we're doing manually here.
Yeah. Okay. You see, it has a huge test suite and lots of ways to run these tests. All kind of compilation flags and so on. Okay, so while it's running, we can start seeing what's going on here. So I have this script put aside. So we need GitHub workflows. Okay, and in here we need the configuration file. Now I have work GitHub okay. Actions, Perl, and I have several examples. One is for makefile. Okay, makefile, GitHub workflows CI. Okay, and so we can copy this. This is actually coming. This is the I think we saw this earlier, but if you go to CodeMaven and GitHub Actions, then there are the links to these GitHub repositories. So this is the GitHub repository that I have the local clone, and this is where I have this skeleton or an example of how to write this, okay? And I have them in separate repositories so they can run on their own and it's like standalone. So I copy this one just to get started with something. I'll remove the scheduled thing now for now. I can also start with just Ubuntu for now. So and just a single version of Perl. So this is the matrix that allows us all kind of. Stop me if I think we went over this, but I already lost my memory. So stop me if something is unclear or we haven't gone through it. Okay. So here is just the matrix of the various types of environments. We set up Perl here. We install the modules. Okay, so we needed to, it's in here, okay? We needed first to install module install. And then we ran this. Which is here already. So I can cpanm, we install that one. And then we have this file with all the extra modules that need to be installed, that we had to install. And I'm sure one of the scripts that was used in Travis already has all this. So, and maybe automatically and magically and whatever, but I don't know, and I don't want to start investigating that now. And once we have this, we can run the Perl makefile, make and make test. Okay, so that should probably work. And back to the test run. So it seems that it worked. It took how much? 5 minutes. Okay, about 5 minutes. Okay, so here back to my editor, git status. We have the GitHub action. So now I create a separate branch, git checkout -b. I call it CI. Okay. And I said git add GitHub. I don't need the dev sh because that was what I was just using locally. And git commit add GitHub actions. Add simple GitHub actions. GitHub workflow. Okay, so I added this, but I can't push it out, of course, because I cloned this whole thing from the original one. Actually, it's under the Perl 5. That's interesting. So it's maintained by the core Perl team, apparently. So I don't know what's going on here. Anyway, I need to fork it. Okay, create a fork. And here I add git remote add, I call it fork. And this is my fork. Okay, this is what I described in the README file for the previous meeting, that first I clone. It wasn't the way we did it last week, but this is the way I think it's gonna be clearer, the naming. Because now if I type in git remote, I have the origin, which is the original Git repository, and the fork, which is my fork. Okay, so it makes to me more sense. And now I push out git push. Git push. Okay, just say git push. Git push, and it say, I keep forgetting what is this flag. I just use -u because that's the short version of it. And now I say fork CI. Okay, so I don't push it to origin, I push it to fork. I wouldn't even be able to push it out to origin. Okay, and so now, okay, I can see that it's offering me to send the pull request. What is now interesting to me is to see the actions. And it's still thinking about it, or I made a mistake. Okay. Did I make a mistake somewhere? GitHub workflows. Work. I don't have a typo in the folder name, right? It's the same. It's GitHub workflows. Okay. What if I reload this thing? What's the problem? Oh. Actions. Yeah. I don't see anything that would prevent it from running. Oh, wait a second. No, it's in every branch. Yes. Ah, why? CI. It shouldn't be that. Okay, what happens now? What could be the problem here? Okay. Thank you for live demoing. So apparently the GitHub Actions doesn't work. Okay. In the meantime, so do you see this now? Have you noticed by the...
Yeah, I've not seen that before though.
Sorry?
I've not seen that before. This status page, the actions being down. No.
Yeah. Yesterday it was like everything was yellow and red, almost everything, for half an hour, I think, or an hour. I don't know for how long. For some time. I didn't measure it because I didn't care. But it's lovely that they're right at the time when I need to show GitHub Actions, it's not working. Anyway, that's a good place to check the GitHub status. Okay, so it's 3:45 UTC. So it's 7 minutes ago. Okay, so GitHub Actions. So let's take a look at this one in the meantime, okay? This skeleton, okay? How it looks like. And hopefully, in the meantime, they will fix it, and then we can continue. I have no better idea for now. So this is a demo for using GitHub Actions with a Postgres database. And the key thing here is that we set up, so there is the job, okay? So just a workflow, regular workflow triggers, nothing special here. A job, which I call test, not interesting. A matrix that's again not very interesting. I just use the latest of Postgres. What interesting is that I have a services here, and the services can be various, well, services, okay, that need to run while I run my tests. So all the tests that we already did are here, okay? The actual tests are here. This is how to set up a Postgres database that I can use. So I say, okay, there is a name. So I think this name is my choice totally, okay? So this is just a name, okay? Just as the name of the job is a free text. So this is the name of the service I picked. Here I can say what image to use, and I can use any image from the Docker Hub. Okay, and if I come here, this is called Postgres. Okay, so if I come here and look for Postgres, okay, these are the official images, but I can use any image, and here are the labels. Okay, so in the example I used the word latest, but you can fix any version of the database you like, or you can have multiple versions for multiple runs of the test. So this is the image that we are going to use for the service, and the version number or the label is actually taken from the matrix, from this matrix. So that's Postgres : latest. I have to define 3 variables. What is the default database? So, and you can pick any name here, and you need to pick some username and some password that will be shared. So this information you set it up how to configure the server, and here you will use the same information in the code. Okay, so I have here this information. You also need to add these options. Okay, I guess I read it in this documentation, I think. Okay, or either here or some explanation somewhere else. I don't remember. I found. For me, it's just magic values that you need to add. Okay. So this is how you set up a Postgres service, and then your test looks like this, or can look like this. It runs on some operating system, but I run it inside a container. So it's not run directly on Ubuntu, but inside a container. So my tests are running in a container, not natively. We could also implement it natively, but I don't have an example for that ready-made. What I have is an example how to use a Docker image as my test platform to connect to this Docker image. So the Docker container, how to connect to this container. So not natively, but well. So this is the container I'm going to use here. Check out the source code. Install ping, basically. I don't know why curl is here. Installing ping. Okay, this is just an old thing. It's not correct. So I installed ping just so I can show the network connectivity to the server, which is called Postgres, because of this name. Okay, so if you call it Kukuriku here, then you can ping Kukuriku. So that's how the name resolving works between my Docker container here and the Docker container running the service. And this ping is only here so I can, you can see, so I could see when I was playing with this, that network level I can already connect to the thing. And then here is the actual code that shows how to use the PostgreSQL client, PSQL, to connect to this server. And for that, it's just, I run the PSQL, give it the name, the host name Postgres. Again, this is the same Postgres as here that I gave here. Okay, maybe I should check it. I should change it in the demo so it will be clearer that this has nothing to do with the fact that what's running inside is Postgres. So this is just the host name. Then the username, and again, I probably should use a username which is not the word username. Okay, so this is that thing. This variable is this one, or this value is this one. My DB is coming from here. Okay, and the password needs to be set as an environment variable here. Okay, so I need to define SPG password, and that's it basically. So this is a demo how to use the PSQL client to access. Now, once we know how to connect to the database from the PSQL client, we can already supply that information to our tests or to our code in whatever language we are using. So if we look at the actions when it was running last month, you can see that, well, the output, first of all, you can see that it's green, so probably it ran. I didn't fail anywhere. And the ping Postgres, yes, I know GitHub Actions is down, but still, yeah, so this one actually found interesting. Okay, so this is the output of the PSQL command, and it just shows the time, doesn't matter. Okay, but it shows that we talked to this, talked to the database. What's going on here? Still yellow. Okay, any questions with this PostgreSQL actions that we had earlier?
No, that was good. I would have done it a different way. I'd have been trying to install the SQL, the Postgres onto the same Docker image, but I like the way you've done it separately.
You would install PostgreSQL on the same Docker that you use your source. Wrongly, but I would have tried to pull it all together. And yeah, this is how I did. This is how I used to try to do this all the time, and I think this is clearer or whatever. It is also the recommended way. Fun. Yeah. This will also make it easy to have various other types of services. So here in this one, you can only see one service, okay, just the Postgres service, but you can have multiple services in the same environment. And so here is if once you would like to see, there is also an example for Redis and one for Solar that shows that this works. Okay. Where was that? I don't find it now. Subgub dbix class. Okay, So though it's down, it actually ran. And for some reason, once it succeeded and once it failed, it's failing. Oh, what? I saw this earlier that it was for whatever reason it was running twice things, and unclear to me why. Let's try to run it ourselves. So I can't run it because it didn't understand that I own. So this thing, the workflow dispatch, should mean, okay, that there is a button here that allows us to run from here, rerun run the jobs from here. Now I can at least rerun the jobs. So okay, I'll rerun this job to see if it fails again or what's the story there. And so this was one, but here we are basically running natively. So let's create another job. Okay, another CI job. CI. Where we're going to modify this to run inside the container. So the first thing that we would like to do is find the one that I had earlier, PostgreSQL. And at least move this part there. So I have the runs on Ubuntu latest and the container Ubuntu and this one. So here we are going to run on Ubuntu latest and inside a container of Ubuntu 22. And then I don't need this one, and I don't guess need the name. And I don't need this runner. And well, for what it's worth, I don't need any of the matrix. Okay, we can add later some matrix here. This, I don't know if it would work at all. Okay, wait a second. I moved back the matrix because not the runner we don't need, but the Perl version, and then we can use this, and hopefully this will work, and then we can get rid of all these Windows things and all the OS X things, and we can keep this one. I'm not sure about this setup Perl thing. Will it work, or do we need this? And I'm not even sure about the container. Shouldn't we use just the Perl container? Probably it would be better to use, instead of Ubuntu, use Perl and we can use the Perl version, and we don't need this one. Okay, so let's just go to the hub here, and let's look for Perl to see what do we have there. So we can have 536 as a flag, as a label, sorry, or latest, or all kind of others, and that will be something that Perl or Perl is installed already, and cPanM is already installed, I think, and so on. So let's see what will happen if we send out this, but it's still running, so we probably want to wait. Okay, it's running the tests. Okay, so while it's running the test, let's take a look another thing here in this the output, earlier output, so we can learn about that. Specifically, I'm looking for this one. Test needs DB. Okay, so it's not just it's okay. There are these optional dependencies. So cpan-m no test dbdpg. So I'm trying it in my, and I can't do this obviously because something is missing. Meta cpan pod. Let's see if they know, if they tell us what to install. So we need to install some C library, right? You know what I'm missing here in Meta cpan, besides that it's slow now, is a link to the README file. So saying, okay, if this module has a README file, then there should be a README link here. Because it has all kind of information that README dev. Okay. So actually, I don't need the dev, I guess, just to install what I need to install. It needs PostgreSQL. It doesn't need the PostgreSQL itself. It just needs the header file, the client libraries. Search, cache, search, pg, dev. Lib, any idea what I need to install in order to install dbdpg?
If I was on my laptop, I could tell you, but I'm not. I'm on my iPad, so I can't help. I can't see the list.
Okay. Anyway, it's an uphill battle here, but whatever bottle. Haskell database connectivity. Not what we need. The client is actually called PSQL, right? So probably we need PSQL dev. I don't know. Yeah, it is.
It's funny that's called PQ dev rather than PG dev, isn't it?
Sorry, lib?
The PQ dev rather than PG dev.
Yeah. But luckily, so that I like this, that's it's in the README, okay? I just didn't search it earlier, okay? In the README of the Perl module. Okay, so go and update. Let's see if this helps. And then we'll have a break because and then we can decide to switch to something else because this is taking way too much time. So this is I just installed, right? Okay. So in the meantime, we are doing this. And now it's green. Okay, so these tests passed. I can push out this new one, so we'll see whether the tests run in the Docker inside the Docker container as well, and if everything is okay. And it's still yellowish. It sort of works, but slowly. Okay, so let's have a break. What, 5 minutes? I have to end today at 8 o'clock my time, so whatever time is your time. Can't go beyond that. So 5 minutes is okay?
Yep, okay, cool.
Okay, so see you in 5 minutes.